Hey, this is Biddy Penny. Welcome to my channel. Today it's time for a Kendra's Card Challenge number 17 Hop. And we are working with a super sponsor. This calls for confetti, and I'm just a huge fan. I have all of the Bigfoots, but today we're going to be focusing on the one that was released around Valentine's. This is a card I made back in November for my husband. Y'all might remember that one. And I have another card at the end of this video to show y'all as well. So yeah, I love these. This calls for confetti, has everything, stamps, dies, all the things. Also, this is a hop, so make sure you drop down and see everyone who's participating, because I cannot wait to see everyone's cards, and I hope you're excited too. So let's just jump into this. I am using this piece of foam because I eyeballed it, and when I measured it, I thought, yeah, this is the right size for this card today. And I am casing sketch number 7 from Kendra's Card Challenge number 17 for my card design today. And so that is the sketch I'm using. I am also using Kendra's February color swatches, her color challenge. If you didn't know, she has a color challenge. You guys, if you want to know more about Kendra's Card Challenge, please go to kendrascardchallenges.com. It has all the information you need in such a concise way that it does much better than I can do in telling you everything. But I am taking that sketch number 7. I'm making a 5x7 card. I cut all of my dies out of watercolor paper. And now I pulled out my Distress Oxides, and I got Worn Lipstick, Faded Jeans, Evergreen Bough, Twisted Citron, and Mustard Seed. I thought those matched the colors of her color challenge perfectly. But honestly, I'm going to use my watercolors today. This is my Mission Gold watercolor palette, and I am coloring everything with watercolors. But if you don't have watercolors, I pulled out the Tim Holtz colors, my favorite ink maker, and that way you would have a reference for the colors to use for that color challenge. But I am going to do watercolor. If you have the Tim Holtz colors or a lot of other inks, you can actually watercolor with those as well. And so you've got lots of options. Now my brush was already dirty. I didn't realize that, but it ended up being like this mucky brown, which was a perfect place to start for my Bigfoot. And so I am just doing a base color of brown. And my first color, I want to go in pretty light, but one thing that you must know when you watercolor is everything dries back much lighter than where you start. So if it looks really dark when it's wet, just know it's going to dry back, and when it does, it's going to be much lighter. So I'm coming in with a few layers of brown, and I'm getting just kind of an overall base layer put down. I will have to set this to the side and let it dry a little before I can add all the detail that I want. But you can see here, the way I'm moving my brush and the way I'm moving the paint, you can really get a lot of kind of stroke detail with watercolor. And so I'm darkening the edges. I'm adding in kind of a fur texture. He's a hairy dude. So, I'm trying to get a little bit of that. But if I set it to the side and I let it dry a little, I'll have more success. Once it's dried a little, I come back in with a drier brush that has been dipped in the pigment, but not a lot of water. So in this stage of the watercoloring, you don't want to use a lot of water. You're wanting to use more pigment. And again, I'm going in and just kind of dotting in texture and adding interest. I'm going to use that same brown for the trunk of my trees. And then I'm using the card challenge or the color challenge, but I'm just using different colors in my palette. So again, I just put down a base layer of that brown. You're really not going to see it. It just makes such a subtle difference. So I'm cleaning my brush, and I did have to make sure that I was cleaning it pretty well in between each color because I'm wanting my colors to be true to the color challenge. So I'm not wanting too much cross contamination. So I go in with this yellow green, which is a really bright, it's a lot like that Twisted Citron color. And I'm going to color up my grass and my trees. So these trees and this grass is one set from, this calls from Confetti. And I had purchased it initially when I bought the first Bigfoot die that I saw. If you haven't shopped at This Calls for Confetti before, they have stamps, dies, and well, one of my favorite things is all of their confetti. I absolutely love their confetti, which, you know, if you've watched, you've seen. But yeah, she has some new confetti in her shop that I will be picking up very soon. I saw it today when I was recording a little bit of her website to show you guys at the intro of the video, and I was like, uh-oh, whoa, I love this stuff. Danger, danger. But definitely check it out. And you know what? I have been saying this for a while. I love the affordability of her products. Her dies are really affordable, stamps, the confetti. I just really appreciate the price point that she keeps her products at too. I'm just going to say it. It's true. So definitely check out This Calls for Confetti. I also think she's diving into some hot foiling dies now, it seems. So she has an Easter collection out that looks amazing. Yeah, just go check it out. So for my sky, sorry, I was kind of on a tangent there and didn't tell you, but I did a wet on wet technique. And I'm doing the same thing for the sun. So for the sun here, I wet the sun and then I'm going in and adding the color. Wet on wet technique is really a beautiful technique if you're trying to blend. And I wanted it to feel cohesive, although I did want a little bit of pink, and with the yellow, I wanted it to blend. And the same thing with the blue and the pink in the background. So I wet that background with water first, and then I added in my strokes of color. I'm doing the same thing here with my grass. I'm just wetting the background before I bring in my color. And it just softens and blends everything together so beautifully. Now, I love working with watercolor. It is my favorite way to color images, but you could definitely replicate this card by using other mediums as well. You could use pan pastels, markers, whatever medium that you like to color with. You could use colored cardstock even. So now I'm going to go in, and the sketch had a banner right in the middle of it. And I'm going to create my own banner and use the sentiment from the stamp set. The sentiment says, "Is it me you're looking for?" I love that so much. And the stamp set's called Love Bigfoot Sentiments. So it also has a coordinating die set to cut everything out, including the hearts. But I'm wanting to make my own banner, and I want to show you how you can do that without a die. So this is really great for like this long sentiment. If you had banner dies, you might not have one that's the right size. So you can tell I'm not measuring. I just stamp it out. And now I'm taking a second piece, and I'm just going to make sure it's the same height as my sentiment. And now I'm going to cut off two smaller sections, and I'm going to fishtail those on one side. So I just cut up the middle, cut a slice up the middle, and then from the two edges to the center. I'm sure y'all have seen this before. You probably not with such big scissors, but yeah, this is how you can make your own banners without a die. So you create the look of the banner with three separate pieces. And I do really like the height of my fishtails to be the same height as my sentiment. It makes just more visual sense, and it makes it look more realistic to me. I've tried it other ways and I didn't like it as much. And now I'm just gluing everything down. So I want to keep this like flat card, glue everything down. I know postage is insane. Probably going to have to add an extra stamp for the weight of this one alone, but at least not $3.50 for dimension, which is what I'm finding at the post office. If you make a very dimensional card, it's like $3.54 to send those. So this is a great flat card. And so I chose to just glue everything down. The only part I popped up is the banner, which you'll see, but I used a low profile foam tape for that, and so it won't be a problem. What I'm talking about with dimension is if you do add like buttons or a whole bunch of foam or flowers or things like that. I love this color palette. I love how everything came together. Sorry, I needed a drink of water. You know, if you have a vision for a card, but you're kind of stuck not knowing where to begin with it, like maybe you can visualize it, but you can't pull it together, a color palette might be what you're missing. And so, you know, Kendra has a monthly color challenge. I know that other people put out color challenges as well. There's the color cards, the color cubes that people use. You can look up, just Google like spring color palettes, and you will find an endless array of options. You can find them on Pinterest and pin them. You could create a board that's just color palettes on Pinterest, and that way when you're looking for inspiration, you could go there and look for them. Just giving you some ideas. So there's how the banner comes together. I do like to make sure my two end pieces are about the same width, or you know, like that they're balanced to the main sentiment. But yeah, you can make your own banners, no dies needed. So that's my card today. Now I have another one to show you. And then I'm going to let you go because I want you to go check out all these other artists in this collab. And I want you to see everything that they're making too. But there is my card. I love the texture of watercolor. I love just everything about it. It's just my favorite coloring medium. And I just really enjoy working with it. I also have this card, which I based off of, like, if you imagine like the old photographs of Bigfoot, and I did make it like a slider card. Two totally different things, same little dude, and so much fun. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.